What's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Headshot and thank you for joining us. Today we're going to be doing a review on the CZ P10S. I'm going to tell you everything I know about it. We're going to, of course, do some shooting and show you a little bit of comparison here, pros and cons. You guys know how we do the reviews by now. If you're brand new to the channel, I would like to ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell and help us push and reach to 100,000 subscribers. Thank you to everybody that watches our channel. And of course, I would like to thank one special patron of the week. Been with us for a whopping 29 months, over 2 years of support, Mr. Michael Morozas. I hope I'm not butchering your name, dude, but you are our patron of the week. And thank you for your continued support. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to open up the box here really quick. Cool looking tabs on the kind of goldish looking tabs there. All right, so you got the gun. Two 12-round magazines. I'll pull the other mag out for now. You do have some backstrap options with this gun. I'll pull those out. And then your booklet. Pretty simple. To the point, it pretty much covers all the CZs, or the P10s, I should say. Gives you a breakdown, all that good stuff. Okay, so nothing too special there. They do give you a cleaning rod and a brush. So let's pull the gun out. Get the box out of the way. Star of the show, chosen by the patrons, by the shot team, the CZ P10S. First thing I will note, it is not the optics ready version. All right, that is the one that I've seen most commonly out there, but this one is not optics ready. You know, it's something that a lot of companies are now doing, but I'm not completely sold on the idea of having an optic on my carry gun, although I do get the idea behind it. I'm just not, it's not something that I have to have on my carry gun as of right now. That's just the way I feel at this current moment in time. So let's talk about the specs and then I'll show you a little comparison here really quick. So we have a 3.5 inch barrel. Width is 1.26 inches, overall width. Weight is 24.4 ounces with an unloaded mag. Overall length is 6.6 inches. 4.6 inches in height, and yeah, that may tell you some things, but I think it's better to show you what this looks like. Let's compare it first to a Glock 26. All right, so if we compare them slide to slide like that, you can see the CZ is a little bit longer. Compare the widths, I don't know, about the same. The CZ looks a little bit wider. If we compare the grip lengths, you can see the CZ, it carries 2 more rounds, and it's about a half of an inch longer, maybe. And the Glock 26 has been a staple for a long time in the size to weight capacity ratio for a carry gun. So it's very close to the Glock 26. What about the new darling of the concealed carry world, SIG P365? This is the XL version. So more apples to apples, 12 rounds and 12 rounds. You can see the CZ again is a little bit longer. Looks to be a little bit wider. And if we compare them like this, just about the same grip length. Now, one thing I will mention, and it's definitely worth mentioning, is that the CZ is a little heavier than both of these other guns. But we may do a comparison here in the near future. But at least want to show you size-wise where this gun fits. What about with its bigger and older brother? Not its biggest brother, but definitely its oldest brother, the CZ P10C 15 round gun. All right, you can see the CZ P10C is definitely longer, just about the same width, to be honest with you. And then the biggest dimension you'll notice between these two guns is in the grip length, 15 rounds and 12 rounds. So this gun is obviously kind of more of a Glock 19 size gun, which is a good overall kind of in between size. But when it comes to everyday concealed carry, I don't know about you, but this is not something I would want to carry every day, all day. Just a little bit too big for me. So they trimmed it down, slimmed it down, obviously, and made some other changes that we're going to talk about with this 12 round gun. Walk you around the gun, show you some of the features. Front and rear slide serrations, really nice serrations on this gun. They give you a really nice bite. When you rack the slide on this gun, you feel very confident that it's going to charge. It just feels really nice. And you can do your press checks if that's something you want to do. Love the serrations on this gun. They don't play around. Rail up front, One slot rail. Shouldn't be a problem if you want to run any kind of attachment. Squared off trigger guard that is serrated in the front. Undercut in the trigger. You can see how much of a grip I can get, or how high I can get up on the gun. I could choke up on this gun pretty well, and it feels really good in the hand. The magazine release is something they actually did a really nice job. So in the past, what they had is the CZ P10C, and this is one of my biggest complaints of this gun. Is trying to release the magazine. You got to push this button basically to the other side of the frame to be able to get the mags to drop freely. Not very comfortable to use. So now, instead of having a true ambidextrous magazine release, they made it reversible. Much easier to press and get that magazine out of there, which is a good thing in my opinion. The grip texturing is pretty much unchanged. Of course, we're going to take some up close for you guys, but it's got a really kind of rough texture to it. It's definitely not a P365-ish where there's texturing all around the grip. It's in the spots where you need it and know where you don't, and it feels really good in your hand, especially when you get to shooting and all of that kind of stuff. It feels nice. Now, full disclaimer, I don't have a holster for this gun, a dedicated holster, so I've kind of had to, rig something up, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. A good grip length on the gun. Takedown notches right here. One thing that's nice, a little extra touch that they do on both of these versions, is they put some stippling right here. All right, so when you're firing, you have a little place for your finger to rest, your thumb to rest as you're firing. So that's a good thing, and they do it on both sides. Ambidextrous pretty much all the way around, except for that magazine release now. So left-handed shooters, you have your slide stop, slide release, all right there for you. The sights are interesting. So you have blacked out rear sights. You have a nice ledge here. All right. And there's plenty of sight options if you want to change these, but I really like these sights from the factory. At least I do like them. I actually like them better on the CZ P10C, to be honest with you, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But and then the front sight, it's a tritium sight with an orange ring around the front for daytime shooting. Very similar to the original, except the one on the P10S, they made it a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to pick up. And then blacked out in the rear, but it's not, there's no tritium in the rear. All right. So if you're, let's say, a home defense situation at night, this is not really going to do you a whole lot of good. Yes, you can kind of line that front sight up, but I just would prefer having night sights in the rear like you do on the CZ P10C. Just my personal preference there. Otherwise, the sights work great. It's really easy to pick up that front dot, and I actually really like shooting with this gun, and we'll of course go to the range here in a little bit. All right, so if you look at the two guns side by side, you can tell that they borrowed a lot from the CZ P10C. It's pretty obvious, but that's not a bad thing. That, in my opinion, is actually a really good thing, because this gun is just fantastic. Minus a couple of cons that we talked about in our video, in our review of this gun, it's pretty much perfect. It's an awesome gun. So it's nice to see that they brought those same features over and made the changes where they need to be made. One thing I will talk about, though, is the magazines. So if you have one of the older P10Cs, the magazines don't work. They won't lock up. They won't lock the slide back. Won't lock into place. And what you'll notice is 4 cuts here, 2 cuts here. I assume, I wasn't able to find a whole lot on this, but I assume because this one is full-time ambidextrous and this one is not, that it's just reversible, that for whatever reason they weren't able to make these compatible with the P10S. So other than that, let's talk about the breakdown, then we'll take you guys to the range with us. Pull the trigger. We'll talk about the trigger after the shooting part of the review, by the way. Pull down on these little tabs right here. Let the slide go forward. You see you have a dual recoil spring. The first half of it is captive. The bottom half is not, which is interesting. Most of them are fully captive, but it is a metal guide rod there. Barrel. Nice wide lug on the bottom there. Striker block. A little bit different, actually, and I did want to show you that. All right, so let me show you how this striker block and all that works. So you have a tab right here, which is essentially your striker block. So the striker cannot go forward while that block is in the way. Once you pull the trigger, block comes out of the way, striker comes back to the rear, and forward to ignite the round. So pretty interesting design. And if we compare that to the original, you can see it is the same exact thing. All right, which is a reliable system. It's been reliable for us, and from what I know, guys are having a lot of luck with these. So that's a good thing. Putting it back together, super simple. Put your spring in there, compress the spring. You can see your rails, points of contact right there. You know, pretty standard. Polymer frame, of course. Lock it back to the rear. Sometimes I have little issues like that, just trying to get it back on there. But once you get it back on there, it's good to go. Make sure it resets. Okay, good. All right, so let's go to the range. And then afterwards, we'll talk about the trigger, pros and cons, and my overall opinion of the CZ P10S. We'll see you guys in a minute.
Locked back, the trigger is stuck back.
Hold on. Okay.
So it didn't expel the round, is that what happened?
Right. Grab that round. So Mrs. Headshot was just shooting and the trigger stayed locked to the rear. And what happened is the round was not extracted properly. So the round was actually still just in the chamber. It did not extract the round at all. One thing, and not making an excuse for this gun, but we did drop it in sand. So I don't know if something happened there, but I'm hoping maybe it was just a break-in type of issue. All right, we've literally run 50 rounds through the gun. So just wanted to record that at least so you guys know what's going on. Okay. All right, this is the second time we've had this issue. So I'm going to show you it did not extract the round. You drop the mag. You can see what happened to the round there. Empty shell case. So it's just not extracting the round. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot these last couple rounds and then I'm going to take it apart, make sure there's no dirt inside of this mechanism, and make sure we give this thing a fair chance. So let me shoot these last couple rounds real quick. We got the CZ P10S out here today. We're gonna try 40-yard shots and see how many we can connect with. We're having this is a pretty awesome gun with an awesome trigger in it, so I expect this to go pretty well, but let's find out. Shooting a little bit fast today, but as you can see, you do your part, the gun can connect at 40 yards easily. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. As you can see, we did have a couple of issues early on, and I will admit that the gun was dropped. We got some sand in there. So the issue, obviously, I kind of explained it there, but just to re-emphasize, the casings weren't being extracted fully out of the chamber or at all. It's not like they were stovepiping. They just weren't being extracted. So I took the gun apart. I cleaned in and behind the extractor and places where I seen some a little bit of sand build up. It wasn't a ton of sand by any means, but after that the gun ran flawlessly. So I don't know if it was a break-in thing or a sand thing, but the sand was very minimal. I lean more towards just a break-in thing, just getting the gun where the action and everything is smoothing out. I mean, and I haven't had any issues since. So not making excuses, but that's what I saw. But how did the gun shoot? It absolutely shot phenomenally. I had some awesome groups with this thing. I felt very comfortable at 40 yards. The gun just did great, and we shot it pretty much all day, and I had a blast with it. Now, CZ mentioned something about how they refine the behavior during shooting and all of that good stuff. I can tell you that in my hands on that day, this gun did fantastic, and it really does shoot like the bigger version of the P10C. You know we got to compare these two guns, so that'll be coming hopefully up very soon if you guys want to see that. Personally, I think that'd be an awesome video, but the guns side by side and just this gun, it just feels awesome in the hand. It's everything that I pretty much expected, but they did improve the trigger, I think, and I'll show you that here really quick. You have your trigger safety right there. Come to the wall. Brakes. Reset. Super short. Right there. Brakes again. Very nice trigger. Let's pull it on the Lyman trigger gauge scale. 5 pounds, 8 ounces. One more time. 5 pounds, 12 ounces. I think I got my finger in there, honestly. Hold on. Come on. 5 pounds, 4 ounces. So right at 5.5 pounds, this gun is fantastic at the range. It's exactly what I was hoping for. Just a smaller version of the CZ P10C, and it seriously shoots like a bigger gun. I know I've said that already, but it really does. And what I've been doing carry-wise, because Holster does not have a holster dedicated for the P10S yet, I've been carrying in the P10C holster, and I know it's not advised at all by them or any holster manufacturer, but that's the way I've been carrying it, and just to get an idea how this gun actually carries. And it carries very well. It obviously is a little bit heavier than your Shield, than your P365, than your Glock 26. You'll notice a big difference if you go from carrying, let's say, an LC9S or a P365, or even a Shield. You're going to notice a little bit of difference there. But if you go from carrying something like a Glock 26, a Glock 19, an M&P 9 compact, one of the old 12-round guns, something like that, you're not going to notice that big of a difference. And honestly, it was pretty comfortable to carry every single day, and I felt adequately armed. 12 rounds in the magazines is awesome, and I think the gun just did a fantastic job, and I felt really good. I feel really good carrying this gun. It just has a lot to offer, and I appreciate that. And the grip texturing doesn't really tear my skin up. It's kind of weird. It's soft enough to be comfortable against your skin, but rough enough. And I think why that is because of the way they did their pyramids on the side compared to the grip texturing on the back and front strap, where this is more aggressive and this is more subtle. So when it is up against your skin, you're not going to have it tearing up your skin, which is a nice little detail I think they put there. All right, so we are at the point where we're going to talk about pros and cons. Let's talk about the pros, the good stuff first. Awesome gun. I think I picked this gun up for like $450 or something like that. Transferred in. It was under $500 for sure. And now it's not the optics ready version. The optics ready is obviously a little bit more expensive, but overall the value on these CZs, man, it's almost unmatched because they offer you a lot at a really good price. So I appreciate that. Front and rear slide serrations that are very usable, and I like their slide serrations, man. They're cut deep. They make you feel, it really feels good to charge this gun up because of how aggressive they are, and just getting that slide to go home, it feels really good. The trigger is awesome. The magazine release is way better than the P10C, the original. The grip and the length of the grip, I think, is absolutely perfect. And overall, I just think the gun does a lot of things really well. Talking about the cons here, I'm actually not a fan of these sights. And it's not because of the front sight, it's because of the rear sight. I think on a carry gun, especially one that already has a tritium insert up front, you definitely need that in the rear. That's just my opinion. One thing I will talk about as far as a pro, though, on the rear sight is the shelf they put there is really solid. Gives you a nice ramp in case you need to do one-handed reloads. But going back to the cons, the magazine interchangeability, no idea who made that decision. Of course, I don't engineer guns, so they're way smarter than I am. But the only thing I can think is that, the only thing that I'm thinking on the consumer side is, why? I already have a P10C, or you have a P10, or whatever. You have a P10C. I want to be able to use my 15-round magazines at the range. I don't want to have to buy more mags. I mean, they're very expensive. So why they made that decision is beyond me, but, they made it, and we just have to live with it. But in my eyes, that is a con. And then the issues that we had up front. Again, I don't know if that was a sand or a break-in thing. The issues are not appearing anymore. They're not coming up. So I just want to at least mention it because it is kind of a con, even though it went away. So I just want to at least report that to y'all. One more pro. I don't think I mentioned this, but this grip texturing on the side of the gun is just a super nice touch, and I really do like that a lot. The gun offers just a lot in a really affordable package, and I think the gun does a lot of things really well. It was exactly what I was hoping for in this smaller version of the CZ P10C. It's not the optics version. Again, I'm not completely sold on that, but I understand the concept behind it. I think this gun is awesome. So I would definitely give it like a 9.5 out of 10 because it's just that good. And I think if you're somebody that really is serious about your carry gun and you want something that you can put rounds on target no matter what, this is one of those guns. It inspires a lot of confidence. It's a little bit on the heavier side, of course, because of everything we just talked about, but you get 12 plus 1 in the chamber in a smaller gun that shoots like a big gun, no doubt about it. All right, that's thrown around a lot, but this is absolutely true for the CZ P10S. I absolutely love this gun. I want to know what your thoughts are down in the comments below about the CZ P10S or the P10C or the P10F, which is a 19-round version. Whatever you think about the CZ P10 series, let me know down in the comments below. We will see you guys in the next one. If you're a power patron or up, look for your outro coming right after this. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, hold them down.